Welcome to Thoughtful Planning, the place where real conversation, expert insight, and a touch of humor meet to turn our end-of-life uncertainties into self-assurance. I'm your co-host, Santiago, a history buff and a big kid at heart.
And I'm Honey, your guide through the intricate dance of planning with care and a whole lot of warmth. Every week, we're here to turn those intimidating "are we ready" moments into confident "everything is under control" moments. Today's journey is one you won't want to miss.
Hi, welcome to Thoughtful Planning. I'm Honey. Please note, this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial, legal, or tax advice. Always check with a qualified professional before making decisions related to your personal situation. Let's begin with the essential question. What capital credit accounts might be quietly building in the background? And have you made it clear enough that your family would know how to find and claim them if needed? Today, we're diving into a topic you might not have given much thought to: capital credits or dividends from electric cooperatives, which I'll refer to as co-ops moving forward. If you've moved around a lot or lived in a small town, or if someone in your family has, this is one of those financial details that can make a difference later and is worth researching. So you might be wondering, what are capital credits? If you get electricity through a co-op, you're technically a part owner. When the co-op brings in more money than it needs to run its operations, the leftover, often referred to as margins, gets divided amongst its members based on how much electricity they used. These are called capital credits or dividends or patronage refunds. Just depends on the co-op that you're with. Now, some co-ops apply these to future bills. Others hold them for years and then send out checks. If they can't reach you, the unclaimed credits are eventually turned over to the state's unclaimed property division, depending on that state's process. So here's what happened with us. As a military family, we moved a lot, every 10 months to 3 years, depending on the assignment. While we lived in Fargo, we lived in 2 homes. We started in one home, we lived there for a few years, and then we moved to another home. And each had a separate co-op account. So together, those 2 accounts hold $600 in capital credits for us. We knew the money was there, but what we hadn't done was the most important part: making sure it was documented and easy for our family to find if something ever happened to us. This became clear after we got our legal documents in place. We were told to confirm that our beneficiaries were updated across all of our accounts. So I called our current electric co-op to ask how capital credits are paid out and what would happen if we passed away. That's when they sent me a form called the Establishment of Capital Account, which gave us several options, including the ability to add a payable on death or POD beneficiary. Now, if you ever receive a form similar to this and you're not sure how to complete it, I recommend speaking with an estate attorney to make sure everything is filled out correctly. That small step, making the call, getting the form, and documenting everything, gave us real peace of mind. They also informed me that as these capital credits are available, or when they are available, they are applied. Generally, I've seen them applied on our December bill for end of year. It just will depend on the co-op. So I documented all the information within our planning documents, set a yearly reminder to check for payouts, and made sure we completed the beneficiary form. But here's what you need to know. Not all co-ops do this. So I called the co-op in Fargo to ask if we could submit a beneficiary form there. And their response, "No, we don't offer that at this time, but it's a good idea." And they continued to say if something happens, your executor would need to contact them for further instructions. So one other thing I'll point out too is before I even called Fargo, I had looked on their website, and it had frequently asked questions. I believe that's where I found it. Anyhow, it had said if you moved away and your credits are less than $1,000, then you should be able to request those funds. Of course, they would be reduced if the timing wasn't right for them to be available. I called and I talked to the person there, and the girl said that is a new policy and it didn't come into effect until after I moved away from there. So that's why this is important for you to document, because in the example of Fargo, they are just now paying out for 2004 and the first part of 2005. So that's like 20 years. So that means it could be a long time, and by then maybe we'll be gone. That's why this is important for you to document, so your family is aware that there is money out there, possibly. And it's exactly why this topic matters. If you've ever lived in a co-op service area or know someone who has, maybe a parent, a sibling, a friend, this could matter more than you think, and it's important that you share it with them. So not everyone lives in an electric cooperative. Okay, so just want to make sure that I'm being clear here. This is not all electric companies. These are strictly the ones that are electric cooperatives. Here's what I want you to do today. If you're not sure whether you had a co-op in your past, take a few minutes and on your favorite internet browser, search by adding your former city and state and then the plus sign and then the words electric cooperative. If an electric cooperative comes up, go to their official website, look for capital credits or frequently asked questions, or the unclaimed property section on their website. I clicked on the various menu options for this particular co-op I was looking into. And then as I clicked on the drop downs, they listed theirs as capital credits. So I clicked on that and read all the information that was offered. So you should be able to find that information on the site, or, they should have a contact button, whether it's for you to email them or call them to get more information. But when you call, here are some questions you can ask. You can ask, do you issue capital credits? How often are they paid out? Do you offer a beneficiary form? What happens if someone moves away? And who can claim the funds if the account holder passes away? Most co-ops will only speak to the person listed on the account or someone with legal authority, like a power of attorney or an executor with a death certificate. This is to protect your information and make sure funds are going to the right person. So now let's go over 2 final steps to wrap this up. Step 1, document the following information so it's easy for you and your executor to reference. First, you'll need the name of the co-op and their contact information. You'll also want to document the payout policy, include the account holder's name and account number, the address and dates of service for this account, the current capital credit balance, whether you submitted a beneficiary form and confirm they have it on file. Remember, not all co-ops offer beneficiary forms. If they don't have one, then just make sure you note that on there so you're aware. And maybe when you call the following year, you can ask if perhaps they have a beneficiary form now. You'll also want the date of your call or email and who you spoke to, and then the name of the person in your family you shared this information with so someone else knows it exists. Now here's step 2. You're going to want to set a recurring task reminder to check back with the co-op once a year, especially if you've moved or the account belongs to someone who's passed away. Even after someone dies, their estate may be entitled to receive any outstanding capital credits. So be sure to follow up. Now here's a bonus tip. After checking the co-op's site, also go to the state's unclaimed property website. If the co-op couldn't reach you, they may have already turned the money over to the state. If you find something listed, you'll need to follow your state's official process to claim it. Episode 43 on unclaimed property walks you through how to do that, and I'll be sure to include a link in the show notes. So planning isn't just about the big documents like wills or trusts. It's also about The little things, like a forgotten utility credit from a co-op, that could become a headache, or lost funds if no one knows where to look. That $600 isn't life-changing, but knowing it's there, having it documented, and giving our family a way to find it, that's what thoughtful planning is all about. So let's circle back to the essential question. What capital credit accounts might be quietly building in the background? And have you made it clear enough that your family would know how to find and claim them if needed? If this helped you, please share it with someone who's moved around, lived in a small town, or is helping with estate planning for someone they love. And if you want help organizing these details, email us at info@legacytoolkit.com. Until next time, remember, every chapter you write today shapes your legacy tomorrow. Thank you for joining me at Thoughtful Planning.
And just like the vibrant hues of a setting sun, we're wrapping up another episode of Thoughtful Planning. Every shared story and insight is a step closer to turning uncertainty into celebrations of preparedness.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, remember that every surprise that comes our way is an opportunity to grow, adapt, and learn. Stay tuned for more stories, expert insight, and of course, a touch of wit in our next episode.
We're not just co-hosts, we're fellow travelers on this journey. For more information on additional resources, which will help you take the next step in planning, look for the link in the show notes for our membership. Join us next time for another episode of Thoughtful Planning. Until then, keep living, laughing, and loving every moment.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.